Hey there, Adam Thomas, Sugar Shack Nation, Camden, Maine. Here we are on a Friday night, boiling down our last 10 gallons that we collected just yesterday. So, that's all we got for the season. I'm going to be wrapping it up this weekend. Going to be boiling it down, making the maple syrup, finishing it up, bottling it all up tomorrow. So, with that said, we're watching the last 5 gallons that we have up in the tank go down. I'm keeping 2 gallons of that sap that we collected as backup, so when I make that maple syrup tomorrow when boiling down, if I get it too thick, I have a little bit of sap left over to dilute it. So you don't want to run out and make it too thick, have too much sugar and not be able to dilute it down. So you want to keep a little bit of a backup with that. So tomorrow we're going to be, tonight we're going to get this all boiled down. We're going to filter it off like we did last time, just a quick filter into our big pot. And it'll sit there overnight. Then tomorrow we're going to use a hydrometer cup with our syrup hydrometer, and then we'll get that to the right consistency of what we're looking for. But with that said, last weekend I went out to Suga's Country Products out there in Vassalboro, Maine. They're a supplier for all the stuff that we get around in this area, which if you're in this area you know about Joe and Adele. Great people. Went out there to pick up a couple extra bottles that we can bottle for tomorrow. But while I was there, I got a sap hydrometer, which tells me the sugar content of the sap. So I wanted to show you how that works tonight, and that's what we're going to get into. But first, it's Friday night, happy hour. Come on over, let's make ourselves a little cocktail. Now, this is a special one for me. It's Annie and I's favorite for a nice snowy day on a Sunday when in the wintertime, hanging out, watching some movies. We make a nice whiskey sour. So, but what we're going to do last Friday would have been my grandmother's birthday, and she would tell me to go into the dining room and go get the poodle. So tonight, we're going to take the poodle for a walk. So, it's a beautiful crocheted poodle, and when she told me to go get the poodle the first time, she said, go to the dining room and get the poodle, and I thought she was crazy because we didn't have a poodle. So, but I learned what it was, and ever since then, you always got to have the poodle, and every once in a while you got to bring the poodle for a walk. So that's tonight. So we're going to make a whiskey sour tonight. We're going to start with a shaker with ice in it. And we're going to take 1 lemon. We're going to roll it to get it nice and juicy. We're going to cut that in half. And we're going to squeeze basically 1 lemon into the shaker. Okay. That's 1 lemon squeezed. We are going to take the juice of half a lime. Okay. We are going to take fresh Sugar Shack Nation maple syrup. Use whatever you want. This is what we use here. Fresh bottle for us. We are going to take about a shot of this, depending on how sweet you want it. Usually you just use simple syrup if you want simple syrup, but it's maple season. We're in the Sugar Shack. It's Friday night. So we're going to use about 3/4 to a shot of maple syrup. Now the important part, you got to get the poodle out. And since it's whiskey sour, we're using whiskey. And this is for 2 drinks. 1 for me, 1 for my lovely camera assistant, my wife. Put the poodle back to bed, maybe. And we're going to shake this up. So, give it some nice shaking, whichever way you want, over your head, under. I just go straight forward, nothing fancy. Okay? Now we're going to get a cherry for the bottom. One more shake. Just filter it out. There you go. That's what we call the A&A Whiskey Sour. So happy Friday night. Cheers to y'all. Hope everyone's doing, your families are happy and healthy right now with whatever's going on with the virus going on. So we're good up here in Maine for right now, but staying held up in the Sugar Shack for tonight. Cheers. Excellent. So now let me get to Sap Hydrometer. Looks just similar to a syrup hydrometer, but what this does is what I found out how important this is. It measures your sugar content of the sap coming right out of your tree. You may ask, why does that differ? Why does that matter? But the higher the sugar content that you have, the less you have to boil down. Before in one of our videos you said the rule of thumb is a 40-to-1 ratio. 40 gallons of sap boils down to 1 gallon of syrup. With that sap hydrometer, you can tell how that is. That basically means your tree needs to be giving you a 2.1% sugar content straight from the tree, which will boil it down to 40-to-1 ratio. So how you use it? I'm going to just take some cold sap and fill this thermos up. Okay? And you're going to take your sap hydrometer out and you're just going to gently lower it in. Doesn't have to be a hydrometer cup. You can actually just put it in your buckets if you want. And what it does is you lower it in and let it go, and it'll bob up and down and it'll read the number on there. So our sap that we're doing right now, it's going to go up and down, but I've already kind of checked it. It's right about 2%. So it's right about that 2% level. So what you do is you divide 86. It's a rule of 86. Why that is, I actually don't know, but you divide 86 by your your percentage, which is 2. So that means we need to boil this down 43 gallons to get 1 gallon tonight. But what I've learned, why these are so important, one, they're not expensive, and I wish I had this in the beginning of the season because it measures, you can go around a tree to tree. I was finding trees out now, right now, it was at 1.5%, which means I would have to boil 57 gallons down to 1 gallon, which is just way too much to boil down. So I actually started dumping some of the sap that we have just to not spend the propane money to boil it down. So I highly recommend going out and getting one of these if you're starting up, whether you're a small backyarder. If you're big, then I know you already have them, but if you're someone small, it's a great little thing to have. It's only 14 bucks, so it's not going to break the bank, but it'll, in the beginning of the season, it'll tell you your sap coming right out of the tree. Beginning of the year, your sap is stronger. As the year goes on and the season ends, the sugar content drops off. So it's a great thing to have, and I highly recommend it. So with that, it's Friday night. We're going to enjoy our little happy hour down here, get the boiling done, filter off tonight, wrap up tomorrow, bring that syrup down to the exact content, and then bottle up tomorrow. We'll give you a new video tomorrow, okay? Y'all take care. Happy Friday.